A well-known comedian and author has been criticizing The Viewpoint since they began spewing garbage, and he continues to do so today. He shocked everyone with a shocking revelation during his most recent performance. Please remember to like and subscribe to the video before we begin. Like The View, Bill Maher is not hesitant to voice his opinions and not back down from a challenge. The difference, though, is that losers must examine themselves closely.
The winners, the losers. My message to the losers: losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling. Losers, look in the mirror, okay? You know, I mean, for months, Democrats have been saying, how is this even close? And they're right, it wasn't. They could not conceive of a second Trump term, but they should have. When does America ever turn down second? I mean, come on.
The View hosts were obviously uneasy in their seats when they heard this. They began looking into Bill Maher at that point. But none of their strikes were successful. With his sardonic humor, Maher only pushed back more forcefully. When The View asked how Trump would fulfill all of his promises in light of the millions of immigration, just watch his response.
Now they won. Now they have reality they have to deal with. You know, we'll see what they do. See if they live up to their word. Trump says he's going to deport 12 million people. How are you going to get 12 million people back into Mexico? And today Trump said, I'm way ahead of you. Why do you think I left so many holes in the wall?
Despite the mainly conservative remarks, many people praised Bill for his optimism and commitment to his principles. Bill was fed up with Democrats and took aim at other hosts of late-night shows, making fun of them for saying they would leave the nation only to discover the border with Mexico closed. This is only the start, though. Additionally, Bill Maher pointed out a problem with The View and other left-leaning media's failure to accept responsibility.
Kamala was on Saturday Night Live, as the losing candidate often is. It worked so well for Hillary. Let's run that back. And it just made me think, I'm sure every single member of the Saturday Night Live cast was a Harris supporter. But what if one of them wasn't? What if one of those cast members was for Trump? Would they have felt comfortable saying so? I really don't think so. They would have had to keep it to themselves. That's not a good place for us to be. I remember when, and that happens even more on the left. And I remember when Elon Musk hosted, and this is well before he was a Trumper. This is 3 or 4 years. He was just the richest man in the world. And a number of the cast members on Saturday Night Live, they didn't want to deal with him. They didn't exactly boycott, but they made it plain. And I was thinking, really? You have Elon Musk on your show for a week. You could talk to one of the most interesting, brilliant people the world has ever produced, even about this issue that bothers you so much, that he's so rich and lots of people aren't. But no, you don't want to even deal with him. That's what I hate about the left. You're brats and you're snobs and people don't like.
Yes, that is what they promoted as propaganda. For further evidence, consider how The View's co-hosts all fell silent when Bill Maher expressed his viewpoint live on the show. Remember that Sunny herself brought up the matter at first, but Maher's complete reversal of the argument left everyone stunned and unwilling to even applaud.
Israel 5 times, they've started 5 wars since they were given that land back. They could have chosen to turn that place into any place they wanted to, and they took a lot of money that they took from the international community and they spent it on bombs and guns and building tunnels. So if they need to be destroyed, how do we do that? It's a war. I don't know how to do that, and you don't know how to do that. I assume the Israeli Of course, everybody is, but that's what happens in a war. Here's a way to stop that. Stop attacking Israel.
To see Whoopi and Joy's total bewilderment, as if they were in a state of incredulity. They fail to see that Bill is presenting a legitimate argument. Left and right are irrelevant. All he's doing is outlining the proper strategy to prevent war. He does, however, point out that their administration is to blame for this problem if you pay close attention. They increased the intensity of the fight rather than trying to halt it. However, when Trump advocates for peace, they criticize him. Listen to Bill Maher's ideas on free speech now.
Ira Glasser, former longtime head of the ACLU, talking about free speech. Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend, we can disagree with each other, should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech. She should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
Not every single thing has to be for everybody.
Right.
We can have platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but
It's
isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
There is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
Indeed, their position was incorrect. The corner was where they ought to have been sitting. Since the left only accepts their own viewpoint, which they promote on their absurd shows, this is a hard thing for them to accept. It's one thing to accept or debate someone else's viewpoint, but it's unacceptable when it comes to the viewpoint itself. Bill Maher identified a point in which Whoopi was mistaken in this instance, but he never advocated for her to be marginalized.
Have a very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old, I mean, the person at ABC News said, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Reflect. How insulting for someone of her age, who's a sophisticated person, and the impact of her comment. There is no impact. There aren't neo-Nazis waiting for the green light from the lady on The View to go out and do a new crystal knot.
That's so right. And the whole point of free speech is we don't need free speech when we're right, when everyone agrees with us. We need free speech when we're wrong. We need free speech to make mistakes. We need free speech to say really unpopular things. And one of the reasons I'm always proud to come on this show, and I suspect you feel the same way, Catherine, is this is the only space left on television where people can speak freely and not be terrified, right? And you have, you know.
Indeed, but have you ever witnessed anything similar occur on The View? No, not at all. Such an occasion is probably not going to be seen by your grandchildren. Just look at how The View handles anyone who shares even a fraction of a viewpoint that differs from their story.
His whole point is they didn't vote for him because of racism and misogyny. They voted for him because they felt like, I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
and whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
black people
they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I'm white, I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not, let me just ask, what stat are you talking about?
You can't dissect the two.
Yes, you can. There's a lot
Hold on, calm down, everybody.
The major disruption is occurring once more, but have you noticed? A valid point from a different point of view cannot even be acknowledged. Bill Maher was the first to bring up this fact, for those who are unaware. Drop your thoughts on this topic. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.